Hello, everyone. You are watching Holistic Pet Care with Dr. O. I want to initially, as always, thank Sylvia Global Media Network for making this possible in the first place, and to let everyone know this show is not intended to diagnose, treat, prevent, or cure any ailment for any creature. If your animal is having a difficult time with anything, please seek immediate veterinary medical help. Now, shut off your computer and go get help. Other than that, sit around, listen. It's going to be an awesome show. We have today Michael's Angel Paws.org with us, and her family, which they have names as well. So Stephanie, and I think Bryce is somewhere in the back there, and a bunch of dogs. And we're going to talk about the services that and the dedication that Michael's Angels Paws has not only to the community, but to our therapy dogs, to our veterans, to our service dogs. I mean, the whole. And then all of our shelter dogs, I mean, they're so well-rounded. There's such a holistic way of looking at the human-animal bond with our dogs. And so we were lucky enough to have Stephanie on our radio show, which you can go to at blogtalkradio.com/Sylvia Global, and all of the shows are archived, so you can listen to her voice and then watch her beautiful face today, and then combine the two and get as much information as possible. So once again, I want to thank Sylvia Global Media Network for making this whole thing possible. I really want to encourage people let's see, like us on Facebook. That'd be great. Holistic Pet Care with Dr. O. We have a Twitter, Dr. O DVM, and we're trying to stay in touch with people as closely as possible so we get the shows on that matter to people. Now, 1 second before we meet Stephanie and listen to all this wonderful things, first of all, you might want to grab some Kleenex because some of it's sad and emotional and wonderful and lovely, but Kleenex might be required. Am I wrong, Stephanie? No. And then and then I want to take a minute to do couple minutes we're going to take. It's called Did You Know with Dr. O, and they're just little schniglets of information that might be helpful for people. So for today, we're going to talk about diatomaceous earth. Now, diatomaceous earth looks like talcum powder, just like this, okay? This is human grade or food grade, not pool grade. This is food grade diatomaceous earth, or DE, and we can use this on a daily basis for ourselves and our four-legged fuzzies in their bedding area, on their coat. You can use it as a nutritional supplement, as a dewormer, and you can sprinkle it around your house to keep bugs away. And these are bugs like fleas, mites, ticks, flies, cockroaches, bed bugs, centipedes, earwigs, ants, and all other pesky bugs. So diatomaceous earth is a really, really nice EPA-approved, very, very safe way for indoor and outdoor crawling insects to stay away from you, your house, and your pets. So look it up at a reputable website. Go and talk to your farm and feed store or something along that line. But human grade or food grade diatomaceous earth can be used for deodorizing, absorption, pest control with your chickens, with your dogs and cats. Really, really safe stuff. So take a look at it and see if you can use it in a holistic approach to taking care of your pets. Now, it's time for Stephanie's show. So, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us, Stephanie. I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having us. It's fun.
Oh, it's super fun, isn't it? And and watching all your dogs come in and out of the background a minute ago, I'm like, this is perfect. So, tell us a little bit about you and all the glory in which you do every single day.
Every single day, I am lucky enough to follow my dream. I get to train dogs, work with dogs. More importantly, I get to train the humans of the canine scholars that we work with every day. So I love my job, blessed to do what I do, blessed with what I do. And have the support of the three-legged kids that are in our house right now. The three-legged, or the three four-legged kids, and then my husband and the new baby. So they all support what I do, so it's really fun. Michael's Angel Paws, we're almost about 2 years old as a nonprofit, so we're still a baby nonprofit. And we started about 2 years ago in memory of our son Michael, who we lost about 22 weeks into our pregnancy. And so this is dedicated to him, and that if he had survived the pregnancy, he would have needed a service dog. and the fact that any mother, strives to have their children be independent and live a fulfilled life. And so this is in memory of him. And every day I get to bring that memory alive to clients, to those looking for service dogs. And the biggest thing we offer is hope to those that have been searching for someone to help them train either their dog or help them find a dog to be their service dogs. And we try not to get them on the waiting list that a lot of the bigger agencies have. So we're really lucky to have that.
Now, are you talking about my dog at home without any disabilities, just having a dog that's I think is misbehaving, or I don't know how to train them, or I don't know how to have a peaceful existence with them? You're talking about helping people on that basic level get along with their friends?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we've got set up with Michael's Angel Paws. We've got our service dog program, which helps those that need a dog to help them with their disabilities, and we have the other option, which is we have the community dog program, which is an affordable, top-notch training that we offer to the community with those that need help with nipping, biting, jumping, potty training. Just have a well-rounded pet that they love to live with, and just have a well-mannered puppy. And we refer to them not as just puppies, but they're as our canine scholars, because sometimes they're usually smarter than we are.
So you might be able to help me with this one right here. This is Daphne. She's my love bug. She is the official greeter for my business, and a very classic black lab with all of the behaviors that come along with that. So everyone should know I have problems setting limits and boundaries with my pets. So as you might be able to notice here, she's just being a little bit pushy. So we might be coming to Vegas to visit you and see if you could giving her a tune-up, right?
Always.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit more about some of the programs you have for civilians with their own private pets. You go in and out of different facilities, or people come to you, and you guys are located in Vegas, so why don't we start there? Who are you, and how do people get a hold of you? How about that?
We are in Vegas. At this point in time, we're running it out of my house. What we're looking for in the next couple of years is to actually get a building. So what we're looking for that is we're going to have the community, just a resource center for all the community out here for dogs like that. That's what we're looking for. As far as what we offer, we are located at 8 different locations throughout Las Vegas Valley. We do some classes with the city of Henderson, which is a suburb of Las Vegas. And then we're at 4 other locations, either a veterinary office or some doggy daycare facilities or some boarding facilities. They have rental training areas that we use, that they utilize for classes during the day and at night. Usually we do night classes. And then if you need to get a hold of us, we're on Facebook website. We do the Facebook thing. We have our website, and then of course my office number, and then my cell phone, which rings off the hook most of the time, which is a good thing.
I understand that. Oh my gosh, do I ever?
Yeah.
So you're a busy bee, yes? You're just busy all the time.
Always. Yeah.
Oh gosh, this is so good. And then you guys are a 501, so you're by donation, yes, and then tax write-off for the donations.
Yes, we are a 501c3. We are registered in the state of Nevada, and yes, you can use it as a tax deduction. We just tell you to check with your accountant or your financial person so that they know how to do that. All that, the correct stuff. Stay good with the IRS. It's not fun to get in trouble by the IRS.
Truer words have never been spoken. It's so true. You want to make sure that you guys are happy with the IRS. That's so true, so true. So let's talk about some of the other programs that you have now. We can start with our therapy program, which is, you told us last time on the air that it is a people-based, make people smile program. Yes? Is that a good way to look at it?
That's a perfect way to look at it.
And then your dog. Look at your dog in the background wagging that big fluffy tail. You gotta love that.
Oh, yeah. He must be checking on the baby.
And congratulations. How old is baby these days?
8 months.
Good for you. So a lot of dog work to do, right? Dogs checking on babies. I love that. I love it. So what are we doing with our therapy dogs programs with you guys in Vegas?
We're actually just starting our own therapy program within Michael's Angel Paws. So we're looking at the insurance right now. But our goal with that is the dogs go through, as long as they've got the desire to greet people, they've got the wagging tail, love to meet everybody new, we ask them to go through it's about a 12-week training program. Your first 6 weeks we do is we get them prepared to take their Canine Good Citizen test, which is offered through the American Kennel Club. That's the first step. It's a 10 steps that the American Kennel Club has set up, sitting politely for petting, reaction to distractions, how they do with meeting other people, their sits, their downs and stays, basic level of obedience, how do they walk on, how they do walking on a leash. We look for nice loose leash walking, no pulling or dragging your, the pet parent behind you. So that's the first course. The second course then is what we're looking at is that prepares them for about the 24 to 25 point test of the therapy dog test. And that's a combination of how the dog does, but more importantly, how the team works together, the canine scholar and the pet parent. And that's really what the pet therapy program is all about, is how the two of them interact with each other.
Well, I can tell you that Daphne and I would have to start at the beginner level, because you got us at the whole don't pull, don't have a leash. She's more of a free spirit, so you put any kind of restraint on her, and she's like, I can do this by myself. I don't actually need any of the meet and greet thing, perfect, but if you want any kind of restraint or obedience, she's just a different beast. So I imagine that we would have to come and stay a long, 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 long time with you.
Yeah, and we've got those classes too where we start at the foundation level, and what we like about the foundation, I put together, and I really like the way the class runs. I was tired of doing the basic obedience, the sit there, down, the stays, and all that stuff, so I combined it with our biggest selling class, which was the agility classes. We do an agility for fun class, so we combine that, and we do a fun with obedience, and then we start at the sits, the downs, the stays, loose leash walking, and combine it with some of the single jumps, double jumps, and weave pulls that you see in the agility world.
That sounds so much more fun, and not just for Daphne, but for myself. That the whole trying to be obedient, just even for myself, for more than, I don't know, even a couple minutes. I made it all the way through vet school. I was obedient as I'm gonna be. So even in those classes, it's like, really, do we have to actually do that again? And that's my problem. I'm always her limiting factor. I'm always her worst partner, for sure. So I'm glad that you concentrate as well on training the parents. Yes? Yeah,
yes.
That's a big deal? Because I think that's about 80%.
Yeah, 90% of what we do, I used to call myself not a dog trainer, but the dog training coach, or the dog coach. Because you're really coaching the parents on how to interact with their dogs, set the limits, teach them manners, how to communicate with your dogs. It's just, it boggles my mind that, people just sit there and think that yelling at their dogs is a way of communicating with them and punishing them, and I'm just, oh, please, look, give me 2 seconds, I can help you. So, yeah, bring some treats, we'll do that, we'll show you how to wean off the treats, and, work with them, and I'm constantly learning, I learn from my clients, learn from the own dogs I have here at my 2 pups, and then Freedom's here for a week with training. So yeah, it's a constant learning process, but yeah, it's really based on that bond and what the pet parent feels comfortable with, and how they want to, what their goals are with their dog. They want it just to be a well-mannered puppy. Do they want to have fun with it? If they want to have fun with it, we've got plenty of classes for those, and if they want to pursue other things, we've got those. Vegas has got a lot of options. If they want to do the nose work thing, we can refer them to our nose work trainers out here. So there's a network out here that we work with. And if there's a particular case that I'm not the expert at, then I refer them to my person that I work with expert-wise.
Right. That's so important, right? Because knowing, even for us, our personal limitations with training and experience, and knowing there are people out there that actually spend their lives doing nose work, spend their life doing contraband work, spend their life doing whatever, that would be the same as me trying to do what you do rather than referring, and vice versa. And that it's not, exactly, right? So it's not a competitory relationship, it's just that whoever's going to do the best job for the partnership.
Yes.
I think that gets lost sometimes, especially with just in my limited experience with training dogs. Sometimes it becomes about the person and what the person wants, and what the person wants to be able to tell people that they can do, or what the dog can do, and that bond that's necessary, that companionship, that it kind of gets lost sometimes. And that, I think about that when you talk about weave pulls, and some of that competitive stuff. Sometimes it seems like the soccer mom mentality, and
yes.
Yeah, am I off base there? But so if we want to take these dogs and our therapy partnership and our training, and we put it to use to benefit other folks and to make them smile, then what's the next step?
After that, once you've got your therapy dog certification, you get a little identification card from us. You'll get your insurance policy, which is super important this day and age. That protects you and your dog. Whenever you're on an official therapy visit, you'll give that to the facility and you go in there. And you'll start volunteering. If you go to a hospital, you usually have to go through the hospital's volunteer program themselves, and then the dog will go through and get its ID. And once you're set up through a particular place, then you pick a day you want to go. We've had lots of people that go to, there's a big place out here called TLC. Sadie was one of the first therapy dogs I trained at here, and she's famous. She goes every Tuesday, I think, like at 2 o'clock or something, and let me tell you, they're out in the lobby waiting for Sadie to come, and they're uber excited. So every day at 2 o'clock, because Sadie's got her red carpet of people coming down to say hi to her. And that's just, and I went down there one time when she was there just to, her mom wanted me there the first day. I'm like, yeah, I'll go down with you. And it's just so funny to see everyone just smile when she comes down the walkway, and knocks on her door, sings them their song. It's another singing golden that I was fortunate to meet, like our singing golden. And so she walks in the room and starts singing, and just you see the people smile, and just to see them forget, the pain that they're in, or the disease they're going through, or whatever they're going through, and why they ended up in that place with their recovery, just to forget it for 2 minutes is fabulous.
Have you, Stephanie?
The healing process.
Indeed, indeed. Have you used any of your dogs for some of the human therapy things, such as, like the ball throwing or retrieving, or manual dexterity, or sometimes even speech therapy for some autistic kids, or those types of, using them more as a therapeutic? The smile piece is so important, and also like reading with Rover with difficulties with that. I've just seen some. I haven't been involved with it personally, except for hospice work when I was in Connecticut, but it seems like there's just unbelievable results, the interaction between the dogs and the human, to get results that a human-to-human PT or something like that can't get. Have you seen that?
I'd like to. We do have a couple of ours that do the Reading with Rover program. That requires a special dog. I mean, if you've got, I call them the lazy border collie. If you've got like a lazy border collie like that, those are usually fabulous. They just love to sit there and be read. My Golden's a therapy dog. She'd be perfect because she just likes to sit there and be petted, 24/7 if it was possible. So yeah, we've seen those. They go in there. The one with those is they actually just finished for the school year, so we've got a couple that are interested that just passed their therapy dogs, and so they'll be starting those in the fall. And there's a couple libraries that have a program set up like that to help with the speech impediments. But as far as working with the therapy side for the autistic, haven't really gotten into it. It's one of my goals. Another big goal of mine is actually to take a therapy dog team into the courthouse and have them, when children are doing testimonies, is to be part of their testimony.
Oh my gosh. Wouldn't that be such a blessing? Wouldn't that be such a comfort to have that there? Something that's just comforting these poor children that are having to go through who even knows what, and to have to relive it. I mean, it's something that I personally couldn't understand, but even if there's a moment of comfort or even a smile or a pet that can help these guys, but you're going to have to go through quite a bit to get the dogs certified, and you, of course, have to go to security checks and stuff in order to be part of that system, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. It's on my long-term list of kind of goals to get with that program. First, we need to get the therapy program introduced out here into Las Vegas, and then my goal is to grow it into getting into maybe even if we can get into, there's a St. Jude's Ranch out here, if we can get involved with that, and then also definitely the Clark County court systems. Even if you have to go into the children's services or the divorce courts, things like that, where they have to testify, and just have a dog present there to let them pet and all that stuff. And then, of course, you yourself have to go through a lot of background checks yourself.
Yes, you do.
Children, so you will require a background check.
Yes, that's absolutely true. There's a lot of stuff that you have to go through. Just like, well, it might be more intensive than, when you go work at hospice and you have to go through the training and how to wash your hands and how to be secure with, pathogenic risk and all those types of things you have to learn as a civilian to get into those environments. But going to the courthouse, I'd imagine, is a whole bunch of different testing. But how worth it? That's just fantastic. Now, can you tell our viewing audience here and our listening audience later, how does one take the first step towards a therapy dog certification and or hooking up with places in their locale that might be interested in something like that?
First thing is you want to get the dog trained so it's got its therapy certification, and you can go through any number of organizations. There's 3 or 4 that are pretty known nationwide. There's your Pet Partners, or aka DeltaSociety.org. There's Therapy Dogs Inc. and Therapy Dogs International, and those are your three major internet or national therapy dog organizations. And then if you know a particular place that you want to visit, ask the director if they're interested, the director of the facility you want to go for, and say, hey, would you be interested in having, my dog come and visit you if I provide the insurance and stuff like that, and, proof of vaccines and negative fecal exams, those types of things. Would you be interested if we could set up maybe one day a week with it, and do it that way? And most of them are more than willing to have it. I get emails probably 3 or 4 times a week or a month looking for groups that are, hospice places and hospitals that are in desperate need for therapy dog teams. So, I mean, all it is if you've got a particular need, if you've got a particular call to working with children, is call your local children's hospital, see if they need a team. If you have, if your heart's in the hospice, go to the hospice. But what I also ask is that, look at your puppy. Is your pup having fun with this? Does your pup enjoy this particular work that Katie and I did, hospice work? For her, it just wasn't her. She didn't understand. She'd walk into a room and want someone to pet her, and she didn't understand that. So I had to take a step back and realize that this was not working for her, and we needed to make other arrangements.
Well, that's kind of like the soccer mom thing, too. It's like, just because you, as a two-legged, want to do it, doesn't mean you, as a partnership, want to do it. And I've seen these dogs, even dogs that do hospice or do hospital or do reading with Rover for such a period of time, then all of a sudden they just don't. They just stop in the car or they stop at the door, and they send out all those signals to us saying, well, I don't want to go in here anymore. And sometimes we're listening, sometimes we're not. So I thank you very much for bringing that up. That's so important. Can we switch gears, Steph, to service dogs? Because they're two different topics, and we need to make sure everyone knows about that. But then also, you know that I have this humongous, soft, oozing part of my heart and everywhere else for what you do and the recipients of your services and your love, because I've got the utmost respect for the folks that benefit from this. So let's get to it before I start crying. Oh, it's just true. It's so soft and gooey. So service dogs, my dear, tell me how they differ from therapy dogs, and then what it is you guys are doing to get these dogs tuned up, like Freedom, who just keeps walking back and forth in the scene here with her big old flaggy tail. I love that. Love it.
Yes. Service dogs are, the main difference is service dogs are there to help their handler. They're there to help mitigate their particular diagnosis, whatever that may be, and that could be invisible or visible. To you and I, if they're walking around normal, they may not look like it, but you'd be amazed at what people can hide and stuff. So that's what they are. They're there to help their person pick things up, open doors, alert them to something. If it's if they're having a seizure, diabetics. I mean, we do hearing alert dogs too. So they're really there to be an extra, what's the word of it? To be just another benefit to how they take care of themselves as far as their healthcare system goes. They've got their blessing of their doctor with them, so we work with their doctors, their psychologists, whoever they are, their social workers. We really begin to work as a group together, and we also rely on having an open communication between myself and the client.
So who's making the ruckus in the back there? I can hear it.
That is Shasta, our 6-year-old lab rat. We call her a rotten lab. And the baby's awake, so she enjoys the pacifier of the baby. So when she sees the pacifier, it reminds her of the laser. I made a bad mistake as a young trainer and let her play with the laser pointer, and we have paid for it for 6 years.
Yeah, I'm not an advocate of lasers for any creature at all, so I'm glad to hear you say that, because I think it fosters drive, and they never get fulfillment, and it fosters horrible OCD behaviors and so on and so forth. So I'm sorry you made that whoops, and
That's okay.
I know a lot of people do that, but I'm glad you brought it up, because please, 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 please do not use laser pointers on your animals for any reason, shape, or form. Back to service dogs. Okay, so what do you guys do? Last time we were together, you told me that you guys work with some of the dogs that come out of shelter, some of the dogs that aren't your normal purpose-bred service dogs. And I think that that's just so admirable, so admirable. So run us through it.
We've got the service dog program set up, and we've got 3 different avenues a client can, can potentially go. They can call us, and so they can take their own puppy and turn that into a service dog. And that, they have to go through a pretty rigorous temperament test that I put them through. There's a couple temperament tests I've pulled from to kind of follow those, and also some things I've noticed myself as a trainer that we've added into the temperament test. Second option is they can give me some kind of parameters, and what their wishes are, I guess we could say, and then I'll kind of work with those and try and find the best suitable match for them and their personality and what they need as far as, does it get along with children, with cats, other dogs, birds, whatever they may have in the home is what I have to really screen the dogs for.
Right.
And those where we take the dogs out of shelters and kind of those that were left behind or thought useless, we give them a whole new purpose in life. So we're kind of, it's not the best term, but it's the only term I can come up with these days. It's kind of like repurposing the dog and giving them, when people thought that they were useless, and here they are helping, someone regain their independence, and people who go out into the real world and be part of the world, go out to the grocery stores and not be, holed up in their house and think the world is out to get them. That's one thing. And the other one we do too is you've seen Freedom. Oh, there he is, with his tail wagging back and forth. He was a puppy. I've raised him for 18 months. My husband and I raised him to be given to a veteran. And so we've got that program set up where someone opens their heart, raises a dog for a period of 12 to 18 months, and we work with them. I myself work with them. They go to group classes, socialize it, teach them the service dog training aspects of it too, and then we do a passing of leash ceremony, and so that's when we pair it with their particular person and they go on to live with that person, and then we of course provide another additional 6 months of training after that. And then of course Freedom needed some tune-up, so he's back at the house doing a tune-up as far as training goes. As far as manners in public, he needed a little bit of tune-up with that, so him and I, after we get done with this, we'll head to probably the grocery store when it cools off a little bit. With since it's 105 out here today, we have to kind of change our training regimen. We can only go at night when the asphalt finally cools off to a little bit nicer temperature these days.
This, Stephanie, this show couldn't be better, I gotta be honest with you, because that whole burning the paws on the asphalt, people don't know about that, right? So I just made a local article in a local newspaper about the problems with the heat, and it's it's heat stroke, it's drowning, it's cardiac problems, it's snake bites, and pad burns. And I was my normal subtle self. I'm like, if it's hot outside, stick your hand on the asphalt. Does that hurt? If yes, don't walk your dog on it. And then I said, or you could take your shoes off and walk across your darn self and see if that's a good idea. And they actually put it in print. It actually went into print. So I'm not really sure how that's going to go over with the everybody public, but it's true, right? The pads, and then the dogs get 10 steps out and then they're stuck, And when I first moved to Vegas, I had this little Cocker Spaniel cross, and those, that even that green fake grass that we put out.
Oh yeah, that's hot.
It's so hot. It's hot plastic, right?
Yeah.
So my poor Cocker runs out there to go potty, and all of a sudden I find her and she's on her back. And I'm like, what the heck's going on here? And she tried to get up, and then she's on her back. I honestly, as a veterinarian, thought she was having a seizure. It's because she couldn't stay on her feet. It was so darn hot. And I'm like, and then I went to go pick her up and burn my hand. So I figured, wow, I need to plant some more trees in Vegas, don't I? But that is such an aside, but it's so important, right? That asphalt and sun burn their paws. So tell me how. Go ahead.
We make sure that any of our service dogs, since they need to be with their person 24/7, is I require them to purchase doggy shoes or doggy booties. And there are 2 particular brands that I prefer that I've seen the best use with, and they're just like our regular tennis shoes when we walk on the floor. And so those give enough just to let them get in and out of the cars or across the hot asphalt or something. And most of them, when it's 115 degrees outside, most of us aren't going to go outside with our dogs anyways.
Right.
But there are those times when you need it. And so we do work with the dogs and getting them used to walk with their shoes on, because it's really funny when you put shoes on a dog. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Stephanie, what companies do you like? Are you comfortable telling us?
There is rei.com.
Oh.
And then Ruffwear, Ruffwear. They've got a fabulous product that has the tennis shoe stuff, and then it's breathable, because unfortunately you can't go to your local pet stores, the big ones, is they usually sell the wrong type of shoes for us desert people.
Right.
They sell them more for those that are up in the snow. Unfortunately, we don't get that in the desert. And so a lot of those are packed with the sheepskin inside of them, and so by putting the sheepskin inside of them doesn't help the dog cool off at all, only makes the process worse.
Right, right. So those of us that are watching or listening, that dogs sweat or control their internal temperatures through their pads and panting, and that's it. So if we put something on them, even with the best intentions, not to burn their feet, we have to make sure that those shoes are going to be on for any amount of time, that they have to be breathable, or as soon as you're off that asphalt, you get them off their feetsies, because, I'm sorry, their paws, because, right, I forgot I'm a doctor sometimes, that they have to be able to breathe through their pads, especially when it's 110, 100 and whatever, 90 whatever. They're wearing a fur coat. They can't sweat. They can only pant and do it through their paws, so we have to give them their paws. So I love the fact that Rough Wear is a breathable shoe. Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah, yeah, they just look like regular old, small little running shoes that after, a bunch of them I've tried, those ones stay on the best.
Okay, all right, good.
They kind of Velcro around it. They stay right at the elbow-ish thing. I don't know. I'm not the vet. Sorry. And wrap around there, and they do fabulous. Because some of the ones you can get out there, the dog kind of flings it and it goes poof. You're like, oh, well, there was a shoe. So they can be expensive. The ones I recommend are about $60 to $70, but it's well worth it. I have a pair that Shasta wears because she's got some pretty sensitive pads herself. If we go hiking in the mountains, no matter what time of year it is, she wears them. And they've lasted probably 3 or 4 years. So its initial can break the bank in the beginning, but it's a product that is useful and just becomes part of your dog's equipment.
Yeah. It feels like a Band-Aid. It only hurts when you rip it off and pay for the bill, and then you see how useful they are. I just ended up buying my dog after bilateral TPLOs and another surgery and this surgery, and then now he's got his Eddie's Wheels cart, and those are, when you're writing the check, it's like, really? And then you see them running around, and they're so comfortable, and they have their mobility back, and they have their ambulation back, and they're happy, right? They're just happy. So when I think about all the work you do with the service dogs and such, for the human side of it, having a dog that loves to serve, loves to be in an intimate relationship with their person 24/7, because there are certain breeds and certain dogs that, just like our Sheps of the world, they have to have a job, right? They have to be doing something. So finding these dogs and giving them that satisfaction or that purpose or that function is ideal. But the services that these dogs provide for these humans is incredible, just like you were talking about not being able to see external issues. But let's talk about like our PTSD soldiers and and other folks, maybe not soldiers, but that you can't see it, and that I can imagine that we do everything we can to hide it and those types of things. And the idea that having a four-legged fuzzy there to back you up all the time. You've personally seen some of these wonderful things?
I have Freedom, who's wandering around with his fluffy tail. Goes from downstairs, baby's downstairs, so he goes down and checks on Dad and the baby, and then comes upstairs and sees if we're okay up here. Yeah, I did. I was working with Freedom and his veteran probably back in November. We were in the process of him transitioning from me being his puppy raiser to going with his veteran, and we were doing some work with him. I had taken his veteran to none other than Home Depot. We kind of like to start when we start working together, is to start at smaller places and work our way up to more busier places. And so we had walked into the garden area, I should say, at Home Depot, and walked in and told the veteran, go up and down the aisles a couple times, see how you're feeling, just walk with yourself. If you're feeling nervous, talk to me. That's why we ask that each veteran has an open dialogue. If you've had too much, let me know and we'll call the session. It's up to you and the dog. That's what we're here for. If you've had too much and you can feel it coming on, stop, pet the dog, relax, and then we'll head out. So he was there, and I said we had gone down the aisles. He was fine walking up and down the paths, and I don't know what else is at Home Depot. And then I asked him, are you ready to go inside? And he goes, I am. I said, okay, you lead the way. I'll follow you. I was so proud. We walked in towards the end, so I think we walked in. It was probably by the tile area in Home Depot. I know Home Depot like the back of my hand, by the way, because I spent so much time there training the puppies. Walk in there, do it. I follow him. He goes down, and then he's going up kind of the slow aisles and working his way up to the front of the building, which is usually more, busier with more people and interacting with people. And he goes there. He's doing fine. I think it was right around Thanksgiving, so all the Christmas stuff was coming up, all the annoying Christmassy, noisy stuff. So it was fun just seeing him do all that stuff. And then he was doing great. He was happy. I could see him. And then the loudspeaker came on to page somebody, or a beep, 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 beep noise. And I instantly saw Tony turn green. And I call it green because I used to work with tigers years ago. And when you feed a tiger, it goes green. It's a kind of scary thing. And that's what it reminded me of. You just see this personality 180 change. And you can see him go back kind of into combat mode. Freedom, bless his heart. His hand was down. Freedom goes exactly what it's supposed to do. Bopped Tony on his hand, and so did Tardy, relaxing him, and you can see Tony just relax. And of course, there I am, falling in the middle of Home Depot, and people are thinking I'm nuts. So at that point, I knew it was a perfect match, and that Then we went outside and sat down, let the veteran breathe and stuff, and he was good, relaxing. He says, "Okay, I'm gonna do this one more time, Steph." I'm like, "You got it, bud. Whatever you need." Gets up. As soon as he gets up, the train saw behind him goes off. He's like, "I'm done." I said, "Okay, let's go." He goes, "I need to drive home." I thought I understand. I said, "We'll get to the car, breathe, and then you can." Yeah. But it was just amazing that freedom, and it's hard because people say, "How do you train these things?" And it's an instinctual thing for dogs to do. I knew freedom was perfect for a veteran when we had lost Roxy, my childhood dog, about a couple of years ago. Mom called me on the phone and said Roxy passed away. I'm like, "Oh, missed that thing." Started crying on the phone, and Freedom, without any cue or anything, knew I had changed, came right up to me, bopped me on the nose, and wanted to, give you a big hug and stuff. So, and do the Freedom pose where he gets up on and gives you his hands. And I forgot, I didn't tried to work with him, training out of it, and just realized it's his thing, so we just let him have it. It's his signature pose.
God, you gotta love that. And the thing is, I can actually visualize you in Home Depot, having a little breakdown, crying next to somebody and their dog, and having people staring at you like, "Is she okay? Is she okay? What's the matter? Why did she just break down in the middle of Home Depot?" When you're supposed to be the rock there, the rock of Gibraltar in this relationship, right? You're like, "I just need a Kleenex. I just need a Kleenex. I'll be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. I just need a Kleenex." So our service dogs are handler focused. Yes, those are the words you used. I thought were perfect, which really helps us figure out. Now, if you, what are we doing here? We got some fuzzy tail action.
Can you come up? Come on, left. Attaboy.
Oh, there he is. Hi, Freedom. Hi, Freedom. His lip is stuck on his tooth. That's embarrassing. It is embarrassing.
That's the Elvis. We call that the Elvis.
I have a dog that does the same thing. I'm like, "Oh, fix that." That's very. And my dog that does it's a pit bull, so it's kind of scary because we got the big old teeth sticking out, and it's like, I'm like, "Fix the tooth, fix the tooth." He looks so happy. Look at his little down-eared dog thing with a big old smile on his face.
He's a happy boy.
He's perpetually happy. Now you're gonna have him for quite some time, yes?
No, we'll just have him for another week. He spent a week with a good friend of mine and a lady who's very near and dear to my heart that paid for me to go to service dog training school.
Wow.
He spent a week with her. She lets me talk about her because I can. She's got MS, and so she's in a wheelchair full time. And he was having a little bit of issues being around a wheelchair, so he went there for a week to visit Maggie, her service dog, and they're good buds, and get some little bit of retraining with some wheelchairs because you don't want me driving a wheelchair.
Oh, gosh.
So she's much better qualified to drive the wheelchair, so he went over there for about a week while we were enjoying a family vacation, and then I picked him up yesterday, and I'm just kind of reintegrating him back into the family, and then we'll do some work in the next couple days.
Now, is this a service that you provide for the recipients of your service dogs for the little tune-ups? Like, if they're getting a little bit lax here, they need a new skill, or they're going to be exposed to a different experience that they haven't been,
Yeah, we can. If I can make the accommodations, yeah. The reason I can accept Freedom can come back to my house at any time is that him and Shasta, our lab rat, get along really well. Shasta can be a little bit, our oldest can be a little bit dog reactive, so I have to be pretty selective of what dogs I bring into the home. But if we need to, we've got a network. We've got 2 other trainers on board. So if they're able to bring that dog into their home with their puppies and make sure everything gets along well, then yes, we can. Or we can make arrangements with some boarding facilities that we work with here out of town.
All right, cool beans. Now, Can you tell our audience if you have somebody in your life or yourself who could benefit from a therapy, I mean, a service dog in any way, shape, or form, and they just need to get started? How would they start? Is it internet? Is it phone calls? Is it a hospital? Is it VA? Is it your friend? What? How do we get started? You're the expert here.
Yeah, the expert. The easiest way to get started is to contact, a facility that might be in your town. And trainer, if you go to Delta Society or petpartners.org, they've got a really good comprehensive list of trainers or organizations by state that offer service dog training. And so that's a good resource to start with too. That'll at least get you hooked up with a trainer in your area. Especially if you're training your own dog to be a service dog, it's really beneficial to have a trainer that's close by to you, so that they can kind of be that one-on-one experience with you and really work with you hands-on. There's a little bit, service dog training is a little bit more hands-on than just a typical, pet training for sits down stay. I mean, you're always constantly tweaking how you train things, because the way you train things with someone may not be able to work the same way with somebody else, because they may have disabilities that don't allow them to do it that way.
Right.
You've got to look at that. So we're always thinking outside the box. Nothing is the same to me. I can walk into a CVS and see a long back scratch, and I use that as my extendable treat thingamajigger for my little old ladies that like to get the smallest dogs and can't bend over, and so we use those back scratchers, extendable back treater thingies. So we're always thinking outside the box. So start there. Call the trainer, talk to the trainer, or talk to the organization. The best thing is you need to have an open relationship and be able to get along with that trainer. If there's no communication between you and the trainer, then it's probably not going to work out, because you're going to get to know that person in probably ways you didn't think you would. And just because you have to have that dog adapt to their lifestyle and have that dog work with them. So start with that. Ask the questions. I always start with, we have them send an application over. Most places you'll fill out an application. They are quite lengthy. They usually do require an application process. For us, I do that to merely weed out the ones that need it versus the ones that want it just because they want a service dog.
Right.
And that's just a way of protecting myself and ultimately protecting our time as our trainers and stuff, so that we're using our time to those who need it. It's bad that we have to do that this day and age, but unfortunately we do. So we start with the application. We look over the application, see what we can do, make sure that with their disability that I'm okay with the American Disabilities Act for as far as what they say for a service dog. So I'm always on the .gov website double checking things and using a couple of resources that we use. And then once that's set up, I've got an idea, then I'll set up what I call a meet and greet. And I can either meet at their home. If they're not comfortable with that, we can meet them somewhere else. Have them ask questions. What do they want? Usually, when you meet them and someone in person, they get a little bit more detailed and they feel more comfortable than just talking over the phone or emails. And so that gives me an idea. I make notes as to what they really need and what kind of dog we need. Because if I can get a visual of the person, then I need to know kind of exactly what dog I'm looking for if I go to a shelter or a rescue. That, okay, I've got a 200-pound man that needs some mobility issues and needs balance, then I'm going to need a pretty sturdy dog.
Right.
A 25-pound Cocker Spaniel isn't going to work for him.
Now, Stephanie, are you working with the service dogs, human doctors as well? To see what their needs are according to the medical professionals and those types. So you guys work as a team?
We try to. Sometimes the psychologist will give us. We always ask for a letter from their psychologist or their doctor for that. And usually I can, if they want me to call their doctor, I can. But usually I get a good idea from. After years of observing dog training, you really get. It's all based on observation skills. If there's something that I don't understand. Diabetes is new for me, so then yes, I will contact a diabetes educational counselor and say, hey, does this make sense? Am I on the right track? And 9 times out of 10, most people know their disease so well that they're so much more informed than their own doctor that it's not, they can tell me exactly what they need. When it gets to psychology disorders, it's a little bit different. As far as our PTSD ones, I strive to find individuals that have done the routes of PTSD. That just aren't getting one just because they hear it's great, but have actually gone through PTSD programs and are kind of using the service dog as their last resort. Because oftentimes you can get with PTSD is they can get combative, and so I have to be careful when I place dogs into those homes, is that this person really has dealt with their disease on a personal level and isn't in denial of it, and think that if they get a dog it's going to be a quick fix. It's going to get rid of everything. But that it's a process. It's their medical toolbox. It's the dog mixed with the right medication. Can we wean them off of it, and it's also integrating them into the society and stuff like that.
That's a great point. Now, so what happens if your partnership doesn't work out? What if, the combative piece is so important because the dog's safety is tantamount. But what if just like other things, what if, God forbid, our client passes away or gets institutionalized, or who even knows, right? Does Michael's Angel Paws take the dogs back, or do you guys make sure that they have lifetime, safe homes, or is that something that's the responsibility of the human, the recipient?
Yeah, there's a couple things. If it's their own personal dog, then it's not our responsibility.
Right.
But usually at that point, they do have, either a family member that's set up for it, or they've got, I guess, dog godparents is what you call it these days.
Right.
I know, for example, with two of my clients, I'm actually written in on their executive will that I am in charge of rehoming their dogs.
Right.
And that's okay. I'm fine with that. So if it's their own personal dogs, either they have, they can, with Maggie, if something ever, God forbid, something happens to Susan, Susan says if Maggie's still young enough to serve and be a service dog for somebody, please let her live out that, because Maggie lives for being a service dog.
Right.
To the point where they need to retire, then yes, we will rehome them. And if we rehome them, we ask that, they have to sign a contract that the dog will not be a service dog at this point. It needs to retire, enjoy its retirement years, just like all of us need to enjoy it. If for some reason it doesn't work out and it was maybe with a puppy raiser, we ask the puppy raiser if they would like the dog back to being part of its home.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Yeah.
Or we've called and we've had, learn from our mistakes. We've rehomed 2 puppies that were working with clients that were doing really well, and then they made something where they tried to snap at somebody, and that's an automatic failure in the service dog community. So they went, and one of them actually went to my uncle, so I could see her every once in a while when I go back to California and visit. And one we actually pulled from the shelter about a month ago. He stayed at our house for a little while, and as he kind of got more comfortable, he had a little bit more dog reactivity issues that just they can be fixed, but just wasn't the temperament needed for a service dog. And so now he's living out in Arizona on 6 acres of land. So he's a happy dog.
Not such a bad life, huh? Not such
No,
a bad
not
life.
such a bad life at all. So yeah, if it doesn't work out, every dog I work with I consider them part of my extended dog family. So they become part of who we are. We get to know them really well. And if the client happens to pass away, usually the family that he's with usually takes the dog just because they've been with the family, so long.
Well,
and it's already part of the family.
Yeah, what? I can't thank you enough for the services that you provide and the education you provide. Last time we spoke together, you were saying how you guys go around just for educational events and those types of things to just let the world know that these are possible, these services are possible, and that people can be helped, and that you can help these dogs in kind and give them what they were meant to do in fulfilling their goal, while also helping and also teaching people that dogs are so much more than just 4 legs of fuzz, and I honestly think they're smarter than we are. I mean, sorry to offend anybody, but I honestly think they're smarter than we are. So can you let people know how, I know you're busy and you may not even want to let people know, right? But how do people get a hold of Michael's Angel Paws and or all of your support system to either, if you're in Vegas or the surrounding area, and I got to be honest with you, I think I'm going to be bringing my black lab to come see you because you could see she's just all over me. But how do we get a hold of, and how do we make charitable donations to Michael's Angel Paws to help you further this awesome cause? I mean, because you're doing awesome work. I'd like to say God's work without offending anybody, but that's what I believe. So
Yeah.
tell me how, tell the world, how do we get a hold of Stephanie?
You can call. You can give us a call on the office number. It's 702-658-0148. Leave a message, and I'll call you back as soon as I can. My goal is that I try to do at least a 24-hour turnaround call as a dog trainer. And if not, we're on the web, www.michaelsangelpaws.org. And then if you want, you can send us an email. Go on the website, click on the Contact Us, shoot me an email, what you're looking for. and then I'll email you back as soon as I can. Usually at midnight when the baby's asleep.
That's just crazy talk now while the baby's asleep. How reasonable of you. Um, Listen, thank you so much, and your whole family and all your dogs for being so tolerant. And I know that your time is so valuable. I do respect that so much, and I'm just happy to have met you and be really only 4 hours away from bothering you in person. And then yeah, I've got the utmost respect for what it is you've chosen to do with your life, and I'm glad that it keeps that really awesome smile on your face. So. Go out and spread the word, my dear, and I will do everything I can to do the same. And once again, thank you very much.
Well, thanks for having us. It was fun.
Yeah, it was a riot, wasn't it? All right, I'll talk to you soon, and have a great day and stay really cool, okay?
You too.
All right. So thank you for watching Holistic Pet Care with Dr. O. I'm Caroline O'Sullivan, and I will continue to bring pieces of good news like this to everybody, and I want to get people involved. So like I said, like us on Facebook. It's Holistic Pet Care with Dr. O. Use Twitter. It's Dr. O DVM. You can go to what is it, blogtalkradio.com/Sylvia Global and see all of the archive shows. I think there's like 40 or 50 of them now. And we're going to continue to do this live and maybe take the audio from this and put it on the radio show. So you've got no excuse not to listen, not to learn, not to share, not to advocate for your pets. Thank you very much and have a great day. Bye, Stephanie.
Bye.